So Rhett's not on Ozempic, and Boomer, you're in a field somewhere
in Manitoba. Yeah,
in Manitoba, and the Flames are 1-1, but it's kind of been a uglier 1-1. How would you say?
It was a tough week for us out here, Noodles. Monday, we started the show. We were in high spirits. We were ready to rock. We weren't eating. We were fasting. Everything was feeling good.
Optimistic about the world.
And then some news started to trickle out about a guy in the cultural capital where you're from.
Taking a huge discount to reward the team that screwed him for
awkward
a decade.
discount. Yeah.
Well, first it was he's signing. So, okay, well, what's the term and what's the dough? Well, probably between 15 and 17 million. So, reports less than 15. Oh, so like 14. It's gonna be lower than you might. Well, how low is it get? 12 and a half. Holy Christ.
12 and a half.
It was a tough day. It was our McDavid Monday. We've had some dark days.
Yeah,
that's among the darkest for sure in recent memory.
I mean, you look at it, he's such an outlier because, you could say he was holding the marketplace up and everything like that, but
he's one of one.
He's one of one. Yeah. And you could put that in a box and put it over here. The only thing I thought of was like Sidney Crosby. It's like Sidney Crosby, superstitious, takes 8.7 and goes, okay. And Geno Malkin goes, well, I'm not superstitious. I'll take 9.5. So I'm sitting there going, and people are like, well, damn you, Kaprizov taking every cent. Well, he signed an 8-year deal. McDavid signed a 2-year deal. So, I think maybe the more argument was when you look at Kyle Connor's deal, that kind of, and Jack Eichel's, those are more kind of like, we'll call it reasonable. But in the sense, the Kaprizov one, it is chewing up. I keep saying this, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm going to keep saying this. There was a time, and I don't want to get too long-winded, but in the year 2000, 99, 2000, Chris Pronger called me. I'll never forget. And he goes, 30 million, Colin. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I just signed 3 years, 10 million a year. And I was like, holy smokes. Like, congrats, all of that type of stuff. He's like, I never thought I would make that type of money. And when you look at it around the year 2000, there were guys making 10 million a year. And in basketball, you look at some really amazing. Allen Iverson was making $10 million a year. And those guys were like the top. There were some great players, and they were all kind of in 10 to 12 to 15 range. Mm-hmm. Basketball is now, what, 50? 50
yeah, sure.
Guys? And the top was Draisaitl at 14.5. Like, and I get it. Apples and oranges, different sports, different TV contracts, all of that. But if you look at the progression of some of these other leagues and stuff, there is generational gross money being thrown around. So I guess my point being is a couple years from now, when the cap goes to, 104 to 113 to 120, maybe 128, 130, there's going to be guys signing for 20 million, like 20 plus million a year. And we might be looking at these guys who are making 12 and 14 and going, man, that's a bargain compared to what this guy just signed for. So I think Kaprizov has taken that big step. Now it's going to be McDavid's next deal. If he wants to sign an 8-year deal, it's got to have something with a 2 in it. And, 21, 22, a couple of years from now. So I think what we need to get our minds around is in the interim where all of these deals are going to start to flush out, like the new ones are going to be really high. And the bargain ones who are at 7, 8, 9 million a year, you're going to go, God, those guys are going to be underpaid for 4 or 5 years. And that's where I'm trying to get my mind around it instead of just comparing, going,
I'm not even comparing. I think it's just a friendship deal that McDavid made to the Oilers. He said, I'll do this and I'll do this for you because I do want to win. And I
love these guys.
I hate the Oilers, so I hate that he's doing it. But if you're unbelievable that he is doing it, because I think he could have walked into the Oilers office and said, I want 20 million for 2 years already.
Yeah, what are they going to say?
What are they going to say?
Of course they're saying yes.
He could have signed 19-1, I think was 20%.
Yeah, whatever.
And
you know what I mean?
Till the
like,
summer,
I'm just saying,
20 because you're over a million.
And you're right. McDavid's in the box by himself, and he can do whatever he wants. That's his prerogative.
You're right. And I think it's just such an outlier. Team-friendly deal. Obviously, it seems like he's involved in everything. Talking to people at Edmonton, this guy is dialed in from the point of like watching their exhibition games on like streaming them. There was a game I think they played against Vancouver that wasn't televised and it was like streamed, and him and Draisaitl like watched it. We're watching like they're young guys coming up, and that sounds like they're very dialed in to what they want to achieve there. They still have work to do there. They do. I mean, like I say, that goalie in Bouchard, I know. Listen, the guy can get 82 points, but there's some plays there where you're like, that is going to cost you if you continue with that nonsense. And Skinner, I know he lost 15 pounds and moving a little bit better and all of that.
Sure. Like that motivated me.
Well, here's the thing. After that first game, I didn't think Calgary looked very good, and Edmonton looked like they were just squeezing them the first half of the game. The only reason Calgary won that game, and Pinder, I was texting with you, like Dustin Wolf just said, 3's enough. Like I'm going to keep this team in the game, because I thought he was unbelievable at 3-0 and made some big saves. And at 3-1, 3-2, I was like, Calgary's coming back in this game. And the minute that it went to a shootout, I was like, they're winning. In my mind, I was like, that goalie is better than the guy at the other end every day of the week. And Dustin Wolf is the only reason why they took 2 points out of that, because the Oilers handed them a couple goals. And, Zari, I don't know if that was a high stick. It was close, but good on him to stick with it. But I thought Wolf was brilliant, because the game could have been, if there was an average goaltender, that game ends up 6-1 because they don't have a pushback.
Yeah.
And Oilers score a couple in the third, and that's it. It was Wolf. And last night he didn't have the answer, but Vancouver looked pretty sharp. So did Demko. I thought Demko.
He was really good. That's a good sign for Canucks. He's hardly played the last year and a half. Okay, like Oilers, that decor is good enough. We've seen that.
Yeah.
The forward group's going to be a work in progress. They add Jack Roslovic to it. That's absolutely going to help with the number of guys they've got overslotted. They are going to get Hyman back. How do you fix goalie? Because it's not like this is new. And it's like, oh, shoot, okay, this is like, let's bring the fire extinguisher over here. Like, we've been talking about them needing to improve goalie for at least 3 years. Make Skinner a platoon guy. Make Skinner a 1B. When he's hot, you ride him. When he's not, you've got someone better.
Right.
I don't know how you solve this. All the good goalies are locked in. Everyone's signing their goalies because I think the GMs realize the rates are really good and they're hard to find. Like, how in the world would you approach this if you're Stan Bowman and you don't have a first this year? Your prospect pool is one of the bottom 5 in the league. You need to keep your theoretical Savoys and Howards because your forward wing depth is depleted. Like, how do you solve this?
I think the only thing, and you're right, they don't have a lot of currency. But I think what you are hoping, and this is a hope, like, now I know there's a long history with Ingram. I believe Knobloch knows him and as they like him. I actually think he's a pretty good goaltender. I think, but I believe he's Pickard's replacement. He's not Skinner's replacement. So
you haven't solved the problem.
You haven't. So that you're right. So that's why I just wanted to preface my comments. The way I look at it is they're going to have to wait and see. So there are some goaltenders coming up. Their contracts are coming up, right? The Markstroms, Bobrovsky, all of that type of stuff. Now older, but still have cachet. I still believe there maybe is one team that we don't know of yet that thinks they're a playoff team, and you're 25, 30 games in and they're not. Yeah. And they decide to go the other way. Maybe there's a goaltender there. And you can, again, you don't have the currency, or you might have to get creative to have the currency to trade for that. And again, I'm getting crazy, but let's say St. Louis just falls off a map and you go, what is it going to take to get Binnington?
Right.
Something like that. Because that has to be on the table for the Edmonton Oilers. That flat out has to be, because if they go and acquire somebody that you can just trust as can be your 1 or 1A that is in equal or better than Stuart Skinner, that might solve a confidence issue from the fan base, the organization, and potentially, I don't know how the players feel. Everybody I talk to in Edmonton says they're fine with Stuart Skinner and love him and all of that type of stuff. They watch what we watch. I saw that the other night. That's not good enough, and the guy at the other end was better. And
I don't disagree with you guys on Skinner, and I'd love to poke fun at him too. And it was fun. It saved our week having the Flames come back and
After
win that game.
David
For
Munder,
sure.
yeah.
He's only got to win one game, and that's game 7 in the final. And
you're right, buddy.
they're good enough to get into the playoffs. They're good enough to win a couple rounds. They're good enough. He only has to be hot at the right time.
Yeah, and he has been in the Western Final before. He's out to old Ottinger 2 years in a row. It's just that you had to bench him before that his playoffs. It's this with him, right?
So you're right that 100% everything you say is right, because it's not me standing in there making skate saves. It's this guy's a good goaltender. But my question is, can he do it when the chips are down? Now, I'll give you an example. Game 7 2 years ago. Did you love Sam Reinhart's game-winning goal?
No.
I didn't. That's a shot down the wall that goes short side through the body. That's a 1-1 game going in. Now that's late in the second period, I believe, and that ends up being your game winner. Now, McDavid and Draisaitl didn't do much, in those couple games. Draisaitl was banged up, I believe, and McDavid kept running up against the wall. But that's a goal I wanted back. That's in the game 7. Game 6, I'm in the building watching these two. Game 6, I'm in the building. Yes, the first goal against is a grenade from Ekholm over to Bouchard, and then Bouchard gets walked by Reinhart. But at some point, Rhett, and you could speak.
Make a save,
You need to save at the right time. You're not going to make every save, but you need a big save. So he doesn't stop Reinhart. Reinhart makes a good play, changes his angle. Skinner doesn't adjust. And Reinhart basically hits a hole, a foot inside the post, not off the post and in, a hole inside the post where I thought Skinner was off his angle. Then you look at Kachuk's goal. Okay. McDavid over back checks. He goes to the wrong guy, but that's a shot from the point or from the top of the slot. And Skinner ends up falling back and I want to save at the right time.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I'm just saying that I don't think there's we're talking about it because we want to see the demise. We're not supportive of the Oilers. I don't think they're wringing their hands up there right now, worried about Skinner and their goaltending tandem. I really don't. I don't think they give a shit. And if it gets real bad, then we'll address it. And if something comes up that's attractive, they'll address it. But they are not sitting up there losing sleep over this.
No, you're right. One last thing before we transition. I had a general manager say to me, keep in mind, Edmonton came back. It was 2-2 in that series. 2-2.
Yeah.
Game 5, Calvin Pickard started. And I remember talking to an AGM. He said to me, he goes, where was that on your bingo card at the start of the year? McDavid's trying to win a Stanley Cup. They're trying to win a Stanley Cup. Lost last season, and their hopes are on Calvin Pickard. In their own building, Game 5, but their hopes is they're like, hey, we need Pickard to give us one here tonight, and you're going does that trust there? That's my biggest thing. Is it wasn't Skinner Game 5, it was Pickard Game 5, and he wasn't that great. And, their D weren't great. They gave up that goal to Marchand, 2 goals to Marchand, actually. But it was just, I'm sitting there going, if I'm a manager, I want to sleep at night and going in Game 5. I know who's starting my Game 5.
Right.
The crazy thing right now, they think that Skinner might be starting Game 5. It could be Pickard or Ingram or whoever else. That's the crazy thing for me. That's 2 years in a row that Edmonton fans, organization, and players have had to go through the uncertainty. If put it this way, if the Calgary Flames are in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final, who's playing for them?
Yeah, it's one guy and one guy only.
One guy.
I know who he is. Well, and here's the thing. You got to win Game 7, but we also can't just hand wave the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. They were a bad Calvin Pickard away from losing in round 1. He saved their bacon when Skinner was awful against the Kings.
Yes. But that's you need, if you determine that Skinner, which is a good goaltender, which he is, he has durability. For the most part, he got bonked there near the end of the year, and Pickard had to take over. But, he's played 60 games in the league. He's shown that he can handle that workload. He played another 23 in the playoffs. So he played 82 full games the year before last. But is he better as a tandem where he's pushed? And, I think early on, that's where they signed Jack Campbell. They wanted Skinner to push Campbell, and then he ended up pushing him out. But the thing for me is, I come back to it, trust. Do you trust right today that you're right? Regular season, they're going to win a bunch of games just because they're a good team and they've got depth, and their players are better than they showed, the second half of that game the other night. But I'm talking when the chips are down, because like I say, if you had to do this, and I do this all the time, you guys might want to do this exercise at some point, but I always, it's almost a Daryl Sutter thing, Rhett, where you put on the whiteboard, would you rather have this guy or this guy? You do the matchups. Remember how Daryl was always like, do the matchups, right? So you go in the West and you do the matchups of who would you rather have in net, for your team? Is it Skinner or is it Demko? Is it Skinner or Hellebuck? Is it Skinner or you go down the list of Skinner or Ottinger?
He's not in the top 8. I'll tell you that.
Well, that's the thing. So now you start to go, a little bit farther down. Do you trust that your goaltending can get it done at critical areas, critical times, not just on a Tuesday in November where anybody can get it done?
We're all in agreement. All I'm saying is there's nothing to be done.
You gotta wait.
It's what the Flames need, a number 1 center. Okay, well, great. Hey, Dino, grab us one from Manitoba and bring it back. Do you mind?
On the tree, it's growing on the
whether you trust him or not this is what you fucking get. Good luck.
Yeah. No, you make a great point. It's just, I think what we do is we pick apart. And it's not like if we see it, they see it.
Oh, for sure. It's not.
These conversations, I've told you guys this when, being behind the curtain, being a coach and being in the management side with Daryl Sutter and that, these conversations are had ad nauseum about players, about systems, about everything. I think that Edmonton, the elephant in the room for me has been some of the details of their coaching. And, details, either lack of it. For example, Paul Coffey was really good for Evan Bouchard. But I think for Bouchard to take another step this year, his details have to be stronger. The second goal was a direct result of him. They ended up coming back into the zone and Zari high sticks it in and all of that. But they were exiting out of the zone. He made
shitty breakout pass.
Yes, DDD pass. That
just threw it off the wall.
You're like, what are you doing? But that's just a small detail where you're like, you can't, you have to bear down. It's in the NHL. The one thing I noticed coming up from the minors and playing in the NHL is passing.
Every play.
You need a good pass. And as a top tier $10 million defenseman, you need to be able to make a 30-foot tape-to-tape pass to your partner to exit the zone clean. And that was just a lazy play, and it ends up coming back.
It was the last game in the Stanley Cup Finals last year. It was the same play. Echoed to it was the same kind of.
But
anyway.
That type of stuff, I look at Edmonton, and I think there's small details there. Comes back, McDavid's giving them a chance. Roslovic's nice signing. I still think they're not done. I think they're going to try and create some cap room and try and bring in now Pittsburgh's 2-0. They're hot, but I still think they're for sale. There's a lot of guys there. Might be a Rust or a Racal or something like that closer to the deadline if they built up some currency.
But I better pray it's a Shilovs or however the hell you say his name.
I've been saying that guy. I said it on the only thing I can say that I would pat myself on the back, and I don't even know if I'm right or wrong, but I like Shilovs as a goaltender. And I remember when Vancouver had the logjam there, I said on the panel in free agency, I said, somebody should take a flyer and offer sheet him, because he wasn't making a ton of money. And if you threw something with a 3-year deal at $3 million a year, they probably wouldn't have been able to match it because they were getting Demko sorted out and they already had Lankin in there. So to me, Pittsburgh goes and gets him for free, and he's a good goaltender. I don't know what he's going to be, but I think he has the makings to be a 1. I just look at it. Edmonton needs somebody farther along in the progression. And I do think Calgary needs a backup. I do.
Yeah, go there right now, because we saw how good Wolf could be on Wednesday, but you also saw the lack of confidence to go to your backup the next night with travel in the middle and 3 games in less than 4 days with their home opener at 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, my biggest worry is not worry. He's young. He can handle it. He's so talented. But they do need a Curtis McElhinney, a better Jamie McLennan, a better, somebody like that who can work with Wolf, a veteran guy, understands his role, develops a really strong relationship bond with him, becomes his eyes and ears. The only guys in the league I'm thinking right now, like a Jake Allen, who's really can play games and really good goaltender, but can mentor him. Like if Marc-Andre Fleury wanted to play, I look at veteran guys around the league who are well known, have been starters. That's the other thing. That's why Jake Allen keeps coming to mind. It's like that guy's been a starter. He's a great guy, understands his role and would be a terrific mentor for, a guy like Dustin Wolf. Now let's see what Cooley has. I think Cooley's a good goaltender. He's capable, but I don't know if there's a lot of confidence there. In the back-to-back, you're going right again with Wolf. If there was more confidence there, you're probably playing Cooley last night, wouldn't you?
He didn't play well. He hasn't played well since he got bonked in the head last year, right?
It's been first half of the year in the American League, he was lights out, and then he wasn't even dressed for their final playoff game. Like he'd fallen off the depth chart there. Yeah. The injury was the thing.
What's the mood out east, Noodles? Who's good? Who's bad?
You see his Senators with a huge comeback last night? Tampa was all over him.
Well, you know what? That was a little bit like that Edmonton-Calgary game there, because Tampa's a team. They're a serious team. Like I look at Vasilevsky was unbelievable early on too in that game. Like Ottawa's generated a lot of chances. Stützle had 3 grade A's like right away, and Vasilevsky made some saves on him. But it was Tampa's power play. Kucherov just, does his thing. And they were 2 for 2 on the power play. And it was 3-1. And I'm going, okay, this is going to get ugly here. And Ottawa just kept chipping away. And then they got right back into the game. Sanderson is, guys, he's going to win a Norris. I think he's that good. Like he is that good. He is so dominant. And if we ran a board last night of his progression with the ice time, and now he's added the offensive into his game. Like the game-winning goal last night, I don't know if you saw it. Rhett, go back and watch it. He turns the puck over in the neutral zone and decides to just skate it to the net, and blows by, I think it's Radish, and drives hard to the blue paint. Vasilevsky makes the save, and Pinto comes in and jams in the rebound. That's your game-winning goal with like 2 minutes left in the game. And it was like this Sanderson is a handful. He's such a great skater. I hate using this comparison, but he reminds me of Scott Niedermayer.
Except he's 6'5", and well, his old man skated that way. It was just effortless.
But Sanderson is a wonderful player. They've got some good players there.
What?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm jumping in on you there a little bit. But Carter Yakubchuk's from Calgary and played for the Hitmen, and they sent him down. Another guy their decor's pretty. Yeah. Is that the best move for him?
I think right now, because I think they want him to be like more complete. Yeah. We know that he's obviously offensively gifted, and I think they're going to give him every opportunity. But he doesn't need waivers. They can put him in Belleville. He can go down, run the power play, can play. If I was them, I'd play him 25 minutes a night down there and just give him every opportunity. Keep in mind, if he comes up, he's not first power play, that's Sanderson. He's not second power play, that's Shabbat. So I think what they're doing is like, we want this guy to be the full package when he arrives. Now, there's a pathway, but the pathway is right now, number 6. Because when you look at it, you've got Sanderson and Zub, you've got Shabbat and Jensen. And that 4 is really good. You've got a skilled guy with a real stable defender. So, it's Jordan Leopold and Rhett Warner type of thing.
Oh, God, that was good.
So that's a good comparison there. Although I thought Reggie played with him, but it was more.
Reggie did. I was with Ferentz.
Yeah, okay. Well, Andy wasn't overly skilled. Andy was a good player, but he wasn't.
He's gonna get mad at you.
Parents.
He's not Sanderson.
Bullets. Poor Ferentz is just out on his mountain bike somewhere enjoying life. Oh,
Exactly.
my
He's a
former
gardener.
teammate.
He's a gardener. He's got a greenhouse like the retro.
Exactly.
My
But
two buddies, my former teammates, just giving it to me right in the ribs. Thanks,
I
fellas.
love Andy Ferentz. We all love him, but I'm saying both Sanderson and Shabbat are a little bit higher end offensively. Although Andy was as tough and as mean as a snake.
He was.
Too, so loved him. But I guess my point being, and their number 5 clear cut is Clevin. So Tyler Clevin is
Your boy you're telling us about all last year. Yeah.
Big, long defenseman who's got some bite. So now Jakubchuk, that's his spot, 6. When he arrives, because Clevin is more the defender and stay at home, and he's a lot like Reggie. He's got some bite in that. So you can see the pathway for him. It's just a matter of time. And there's no rush. They traded for Spence. They traded a 3rd and a 5th for Spence, he played in 79 games last year for LA. He's a nice player. He skates well. He walks the line. But I don't know if they feel they need that dynamic in their game every night right now. I think they're going, we're happy with our depth. They've got that Matt and Paolo there, the Finnish guy who's a pretty solid player. So their D are really deep. And I think they're if you did quadrants, they're in the top quadrant of the league as far as defensive depth. So they're no rush with him.
Is there any way the Sabres break through?
Well, Josh Norris getting hurt last night doesn't help.
Again.
Odd.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you saw it. It looks like the same
shoulder
injury that he had. He had shoulder surgery 2 or 3 times already, and he was taking a draw. And I've seen it. I've been in the building where he popped a shoulder out or a shoulder something when he was taking a draw. He took a draw last night, dropped to his knees, went and sat on the bench, didn't come back. And Lindy Ruff's comments, I was reading him this morning, said that, that's not good if he doesn't come back. All he said, they just cryptically said that.
So is Kevin Adams going to get shit canned then? Because everyone said this is a risk.
Well, I read that, and now I read it Twitter, but I think it is a reliable source, that Josh Norris has played 4 games for the Sabres since the trade, and he's been hurt in 2 of them.
That was the knock coming in too. Buyer beware.
There was no reason to move Cousins out of Buffalo.
A 24-year-old 6'4" center
locked in on a contract. Yeah,
heart and soul guy.
Value contract. And here's the thing: Travis Green told me that he was, I believe, top 3 conditioned athlete at camp this year. Wow. Had a great summer, worked his ass off. He looks more confident, he looks stronger. He's 24. Their centerman goes Stutzla into Cousins into Pinto. And then if they wanted to push him down, you could have Ridley Gregg as your 4. But he's not going to be. Ridley Gregg is more on the wing now, and they've got Lars Eller there.
They're good, man. That's a contender.
That's 24 and under for 3 of those centermen.
Yeah. And cheapest chips.
Yeah, that cap going up, it looks even better in Ottawa. And then by the time they got to start paying these guys again, they'll have a new rink.
The highest paid guy is Tim Stutzla at 8.25. Jake Sanderson makes 7.85.
Remember when he signed that? We're like, wow, he's played 70 games and he's getting all that money. And now it's like, he's so cheap. That is unbelievable.
They're all, for the next 3 years, they're all locked in on value contract. Drake Batherson, who's, I think close to playing. He didn't play last night. He's got an injury. He might be closer than not. So him and Clevin were the only ones that didn't play last night. But getting back to your original after I got long-winded, that Atlantic division is going to be a killer because Montreal, I didn't think Montreal played very well against Toronto in the first game of the season, and they still generated a lot of chances. Like they're a good team. If they take another step this year, they got a lot of skill. I like their D. They've got 3 puck-moving defensemen in Dobson, Hudson, and Matheson. They're all like good. They all can quarterback a power play. And then you've got some skill up front. That Demidov, he's got something to learn still, but he's a player. And you throw that with Slavkovsky and Suzuki and Caulfield. Like even that, they got the left shot. What's his name from Colorado? Newhook. He could skate. He could skate. And then you throw in Line. Like they're a good team and they're coming. So I think Ottawa is going to push into that bunch with Tampa and Toronto, and Florida. And then now you're going to have Montreal push into there. You got a 5-pack, and then you're thinking of Detroit and Buffalo. You know,
Boston,
good luck.
Florida.
Well, Boston's going to have a bounce back year
Like
because
Sanders.
Lindholm and McAvoy are healthy. Swayman has had a full training camp, and he's back to looking pretty good. Although Corpusalo won last night, and I think our old buddy, what do you say, Elias or Elias?
Elias, he's got 2 already. He's on pace for 82. That'll be okay.
Lindholm looks like he's more comfortable there.
Yeah.
So just they're not going to be a walk in the park either. So you look at that Atlantic, like maybe it's Detroit and Buffalo at the bottom, but they're not going to be 60-point teams. They might be 80 points, just and taking points off everybody else.
What do you got for the weekend? You going to leave the Jays game 1 in the ALCS early? That's Sunday.
No, I actually fly to Ottawa that night. Like I've got a 1:00 game on Monday, Thanksgiving. So no, I've got my show today, and then Chris Pronger is going to come over, watch some football on Sunday before I fly out. Talked with him today. He's a media darling now.
He is apparently, yeah.
So he's doing hockey night, I believe, Saturday night, and he's doing, what is that? Monday Prime.
Yeah, on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon. So he's doing that. So we're going to hang a little bit on Sunday and, try and just catch up on everything, get a little sleep. I was up at 4:40 this morning, flying back from Tampa.
Get some sleep, Noodles. We love you. Have a good weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Have some mashed and
Oh,
gravy.
you better eat some turkey there, skinny guy.
I can't eat on Monday. It's thanks.
Oh, thanks, Noodles. We'll see you later.
Take it easy.
Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.